What's going on, everybody? Welcome in episode number 4 of the Stay Bricking Show. I'm your host, Christian. Welcome in, guys. We've got a ton of, I guess, not necessarily news to go over, but a lot of rumors dropped this week. In fact, it was like throughout the week, things were updating. It's been a very hectic week for LEGO Star Wars, but we have a ton of 2025 set rumors, a lot of exciting stuff, wave breakdowns, prices, and then, of course, today we're going to be giving away 3 Bionicle sets, the OG 2001 Toa Mata. They are in great condition, not sealed. They're in used condition, with the canisters, with the instructions. Shout out to CPA for helping me find those and being able to give those away tonight. So we'll be doing that at the end of the stream. But I'll put the QR code. It's just a Google form. Now, I will say this is limited since it's a physical prize to U.S. residents only. There's just a little checkbox inside of the form that's either in the link to this video or there it is, or through that QR code. You can just fill it out and enter it in, and then at the end of the stream, we'll give it away. Obviously, a little bit earlier tonight than typical, that like 8:30 range, 8 o'clock range Eastern time. But you know, we got Georgia and Alabama tonight, so we got to go ahead and still get a stream done. But I just wanted to do it a little bit earlier tonight. So that's the deal here. I'll continue to leave this code up for a little bit. Taking a look in the chat, Limbo, what's up, man? Welcome back. Good to have you in here. Let another couple other people just start filling in, and then we'll get right into the news from this week. You know, like I just said, it's been hectic. There's some exciting stuff, some things that just completely came out of nowhere in terms of some set rumors that very, very excited for. We're gonna get into it. Personally, I really like what I'm seeing out of LEGO Star Wars rumors, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Actually, I'll just get that QR code out of the way here, and let's just pull it up. So yeah, like I've been saying multiple times throughout the first couple minutes here, we've just gotten continual. There were a couple months ago, we got a little bit of rumors for the January wave. We found out about the Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, found out about the ARC 170 and the buildable Grogu, but now things are starting to fill themselves out a little bit more, and we can start to get more excited. I mean, shoot, January is only a little bit less than October, I guess the full month, so a little bit more than 3 months away, but it's going to start coming up, and it's going to be fun. Checking out in the chat, CPA, let's see if I can win my own prize. That'd be sweet for you. That would be a big reduction on shipping, too, so that'd be pretty cool. But we'll go ahead and find out. That link is in the stream if you're just joining, or there's this QR code that you can use to hop into the giveaway. Again, U.S. Continental U.S. only. Eventually, we'll allow physical prizes for the international viewers. But for right now, we're just sticking with Continental U.S. Shipping charges are just crazy, and we want to do these giveaways. So, you know, to be able to do that, just got to have a little bit of limitations there. So anyways, LEGO Star Wars. I found this article from Brick Fanatics, who does a great job of doing a lot of release information, and they just kind of broke it down. It's not going to necessarily be in order for like the full January, but we'll go through this whole article. We'll give all the information, and then we'll go ahead and break it into the waves and talk about which ones, you know, am I more excited for the January wave, the May wave, which ones I think is the better value, and we'll just go from there. But let's hop right in. 75399, the U-Wing fighter, scheduled for a $70 price point and releasing allegedly. Now, I want to say allegedly for all of these sets. I am not claiming any of this to be true, just going off of information that's been kind of filtering its way into the public. So, it's supposed to be coming out May of 2025. The $70 price range. Now, what worries me a little bit about that is how big are we getting this U-Wing? That original Rogue One U-Wing from 2016, to reduce the price from an 8-year-old set, well, I guess at that point, almost 9-year-old set, concerns me a little bit in terms of how big of a set are we getting. Are they just going to chop out some minifigures? We'll see. A new U-Wing has just been needed, since this is the only one. This is supposed to be themed with Andor Season 2. That's going to be coming out, I want to say spring of next year. So it should just be lining up exactly with that. So we should get I think there are some rumored figures of Cassian Andor, some stormtroopers, Deidre, all from the show. So it'll be good to get another U-Wing. Curious to see how much different it is. Typically with Star Wars, they like to kind of age things, but this is bumping right up against Rogue One Season 2 is supposed to be. So I expect it to look pretty similar to the U-Wing we have here, but I would not be surprised if there's some different paint markings and all of that. I wouldn't be. Now, next up, we've got set 75400, Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter. This one should be interesting. I know a lot of people get super pumped about Jedi Interceptors because typically you're getting a droid that you normally can't get. You're getting, a Jedi, and then you're getting a pretty cool build with it. Now, some of these Starfighters, they're going to be based off of material, and then in the case of like Yoda's Jedi Interceptor, it's not really based off of anything, or Yoda's or Mace Windu's. It's not necessarily based off of specific content, but we'll see. In terms of Plo Koon, what I expect for this one is to be a Revenge of the Sith set. Next year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, in case you have not been keeping tabs on that. So there should be a little bit. I think that ARC 170 set, which we'll talk about a little bit. We talked about it, I think, in the first episode of this show. CPA jumping in real quick, saying that the first U-Wing was $80, so it'll be interesting to see the size to price ratio. Yeah, I agree with you, especially with just what we've seen out of Lego sets inflating a little bit, obviously, over the last 9 years. How big is that set going to be? Is it going to be super shrunken down? And I don't know. But if we're getting a good U-Wing set for $80, sign me up. Anyways, Jedi Starfighter Plo Koon will be fun. I don't know off the top of my head the last time that we had gotten Plo Koon. There was a 2010 Plo Koon Jedi Starfighter set. We've absolutely gotten him since then, right? If any of you guys in the chat can verify that, please do. Tall Mosquito says, can I have $1 million? If I had $1 million to give away, man, we could talk about it, but that's just not the scenario. So can I have $1 million? How about I'll reverse it on you? Now, also with the Starfighters, again, you're getting droids. The minifigures are kind of the star of it, and then if it's a good Starfighter build, that's a plus. Revenge of the Sith, that ARC 170, it should pair with, recreate that scene on, what was it, Cato Nemoidia that they were on? Anyone want to fact check that planet? Where Plo Koon obviously got hosed by the Order 66, and yeah, it's a tough scene for him. But allegedly a June 1st release. So what's interesting, and we'll see throughout these sets, is how exactly are the waves going to be in 2025. Lately, they've been a lot more spread out through the year, which personally I'm not a big fan of. I like, give me a big block and then give me another big block. I don't like to feel like I always have to be spending money. Like every other month there's a Lego set coming out, and it's like I feel like I just got a big Lego set. How is there already? I like it better. Give it to me all at once, and then I'll figure out which of those I want to get and which ones I want to wait for. Personally, that's how I feel. I think it also makes a little bit of a grander feeling. But we're already seeing a May release for the U-Wing, a June release for Plo Koon Starfighter. So I kind of hope that's not true. I kind of hope that this is actually just going to be a May release. But time will tell. Next up is a set that we've previously talked about in another stream, Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. This is allegedly a January 1st reveal, and 290 pieces, $45. The $45 price point is a little bit surprising, and plenty of other content creators have discussed this point, but it's a lot higher than what we've seen previously for Jedi Interceptor sets, and it just begs the question of why. What exactly could we be getting that we haven't before to justify this increased price, or are they just increasing the price? Time will tell, but allegedly we're going to be getting Ahsoka, and we're going to be getting her droid, the actual code R7A7. It's her droid. Whether or not there's a third one, same with Plo Koon, remains to be seen, but it's not really leaning that way. So we'll just have to wait and see. This one is a set that I'm not really circling too heavy. I think if we get an early Clone Wars Ahsoka, that's great and all. But for $45, I don't know. As we'll come to see, Lego sets just go on sale when we talk about some sales and promos a little bit later on in the stream. Things go on sale, and this is not one I'm going to be willing to pay full price for. Absolutely not. I mean, we still have to wait and see pictures. but just my inclination is it has to be something special to be able to drop that on day one. Continuing, we've got another spacecraft. The set number is 75402, an ARC 170. Previously talked about this in another stream. Just going to jump in real quick before we get into that to catch up on the chat. Taylor Corbett, shoot, I wish I had time to watch today. Hey, man, you're all good. Thank you for popping it at all and spreading a little bit of some messages in the chat here. No, I appreciate it, man. CPA verified. It was Cato Nemodia. My memory serves right. Love that. Limbo says, any of these day one grabs for you? We'll break that down at the end. There's a chart at the end of this article that gives us all of them, and then we'll just talk about the different waves, and I'll go over which ones are maybe day one grabs for me, because again, with a whole wave, you kind of have to make some decisions of whether or not I want the set is a little bit different than this is the priority for me out of that wave. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Deep Lonker says, 40 pounds for Jedi starfighters are outrageous. I agree with you. I really am curious to see what exactly it could possibly be to justify that price. Now, the ARC 170 should be fun. We're obviously going to get some clone pilots. Apparently, the minifigures are going to be Oddball, Captain Jag, R4P44, and another clone pilot. So no Jedi in this set. This is supposed to be strictly just a clone set. And like I said, with Plo Koon Starfighter, you can recreate that scene when Plo Koon, meets his fate over on Cato Nemoidia. This one is going to be fun. It's been a long time since we've got an ARC 170. And I think the piece range didn't actually change much for this ARC 170. So we'll see exactly what that's going to look like. I would expect it to look just like a cleaner version of the previous sets. That's typically what we've seen out of LEGO. A little bit more snot techniques, a little bit more tile finishes, and then a little bit shrunken down. I hope it's not shrunken down. I love the size of the old ARC 170s, but, we'll see. I do think it's really funny, and I'm not sure. Personally, I think this is intentional, but the character Oddball that's a pilot in the set, I would love to know if that's a callback to the movie Kelly's Heroes. If you've ever seen that movie, probably a bit of a long shot, but it's a war movie, and there's a character named Oddball in it, so I would not be surprised if that was kind of a reference to that back when Revenge of the Sith was made. Benjamin, hey man, do not worry that you're late. Thank you for joining in. Better late than never. Continuing down, another set that we talked about previously, a buildable Grogu and his pram. This is going to be a $100 set. Piece is supposed to be $1,048, which is right at that 10 cents per piece mark that a lot of people hold as their standard for a good value. Personally, I like a blend of price per piece and price per weight. That's how I feel. This release date is supposed to be January 1st, 2025, so another January 1st set. I'm not sure what to fully expect out of this one. We've gotten a buildable Grogu before. Now we're introducing a pram, and the price range, I think, is either identical or just a little bit inflated. So that, to me, screams shrunken down Grogu and then pram build. I hope that it's something that's in scale with the R2 and the 3PO, to be quite honest with you. I would love it if LEGO just started to dedicate a whole line towards that scale, and then shoot, we could look like 2-3 years down the line from now and we have a whole display of all those. I would love that. So that's kind of what my hope is. What will it be? We'll see. But again, it has to be a shrunken down at minimum version of the original buildable Grogu, just because that piece range isn't really going up that much and the price isn't really going up that much. Tall Mosquito says, love the professionalism. Thank you, man. Definitely do a lot of setup and do a lot of behind the scenes work to try to get this to run. I mean, it's just a one-man show running this thing. So always trying to make sure that it's as buttoned up as it can be, and throughout the weeks, we'll just continue to add a little bit more bells and whistles, a little bit smoother. This is the second week in a row, 4th episode, but still getting my bearings with the whole streaming process. CPA says that the original might be named after him. Wouldn't surprise me. That's a reference to Oddball, I believe. I'm sold on that. Benjamin says, good news. I got around to ordering the last couple of parts for my Nuju Metro set. Nice, man. Love to hear that. Last stream you talked about that Nuju set, the Nuju Metro, one of the best Bionicle sets, that wave of Toa Metro, personally for me. Enjoy that set once you finally are able to build it. Anyways, Grogu. I think that's just about all I've got to say about it. Let me know in the chat if you guys would agree with me that this should be in scale with the R2 and with the 3PO and with another potential upcoming set, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But that's what I would like to see. So let me know your thoughts in there. Now, I'm going to kind of lump these together here. 2 mid-eye scale sets that, again, we've already heard the rumors for these, but they're still a part of 2025, and they are still at this point rumored. So I see why the article includes them and why I'm going to include them. Number 1 is set number 75404. Do not get tricked by the image of the Super Star Destroyer. It is an acclimator set, which if you're not sure what that is, end of, I guess, the whole third act of Attack of the Clones, the OG Star Destroyer. We have never gotten one in Lego Star Wars, to my understanding. So to get it in mini scale, just like we did with the Invisible Hand, which you can see just below at the bottom here, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I love the fact that if we were never going to get, actual large scale sets of these things, I'm fine with them being as a part of the mid-eye scale. Now, both of these, the Acclimator and the Home 1, the Mon Calamari Home 1 from Return of the Jedi, are both supposed to be January 1st releases. $50 for the Acclimator and $70 for the Home 1, which is a decent price gap between the two, especially when you're considering 450 pieces, 550 pieces. I'm not expecting much of a size difference at all. I'm curious to see where exactly the big price jump is there. The Acclimator is also kind of, in my opinion, a little bit of those larger pieces too. I could see it using larger plate pieces to kind of make the shape of it. Whereas the Home 1, I would expect like a Technic frame with just a lot of different layers like stacked on top of it to be able to create all of those different bevels. So this pricing is a little bit confusing to me, to be quite honest with you. But, we'll see. I think $70 is probably the most I would want to pay for a mid-eye scale set. I believe that's what the Superstar Destroyer released for. CPA says Grogu Pram is gonna pull in all the normies. It better be in scale with something on the shelves. Now, you are right about that, and Lego is absolutely definitely targeting all of your casual fans. There's certainly sets that are targeted towards casual fans. I would go as far as to say that the UCS Jabba Sail Barge is one of those. People who love Return of the Jedi might see that thing on the shelves and be like, yeah, you know what? I want that set. Grogu has always been that, always trying to pull people in, kids in. But yeah, still, scale it to something we've got, right? Evan Dennis says an Acclimator would be so cool, hoping for many more mid-eye scale capital ships. Me too, I can't wait. At the top of my list for mid-eye scale would be a droid control ship. I would love to see one of those. And like I said, if we're never going to get an actual set, not an actual set, a larger scale playset, just give us the mid-eye scale. I like, this is a great opportunity to give fans something they want, but also being able to fit it in whatever price range Lego's restricted to for that year. Benjamin says, I think sets like this for the Jurassic Park dinosaurs would be cool, especially with Jurassic World Rebirth coming out next year. I am a massive fan of brick-built dinosaurs. I've seen plenty of MOCs over the years of them. I've seen skeletons a ton. There's a T-Rex MOC, which I wish I could bring up right now. But those are incredible. I could totally get on board with like a fossil collection, something similar, or dinosaur. I absolutely could see something like that. D. Plonker says, would make sense for it to be in scale. Not too fussed about that range of sets though. Arc 170 is definitely the most exciting, but 60 pounds is a bit hard to swallow. Yeah, I think you're talking about the Grogu set being in scale there. It makes sense, and it's something that I think they should do. Moving on now, this one was a bit of a surprise. I don't think a lot of people saw this one coming, but this is set number 75406, a midi-scale Kylo Ren shuttle. This is our first sequel set for mid-eye scale, and first sequel set in quite a long time if you really think back about it. I was a bit surprised to see another Kylo Ren shuttle set. I feel like we got the one in 2015, we got one in 2019, and then we got the Microfighter. So again, Kylo Ren shuttle. Now that being said, it is blatantly the most iconic of the sequel ships in my opinion. The X-Wings are only slightly different, and then the Resistance B-Wing bomber, or not B-Wing bomber, the Resistance bomber, the First Order Star Destroyer, there's not a ton of iconic ships going around there. So yeah, Kylo Ren's shuttle is it. Just a little bit surprised. I don't mind it. I love the ship, but definitely surprised me a little bit. CPA says this is due to all the leftover Kylo Ren minifigs. Now, is it though? Because we don't normally get minifigs with our mid-eye scale sets. So it'd be interesting if they do include a Kylo with that midi scale and that's the only one to get one, then yeah, that's blatantly the reason there. I don't expect any minifigures for any of these. Sorry I didn't say that before, but I don't expect any. They're a great opportunity for minifigures, but based on what we've gotten so far, I don't expect anything. If we were to, I'd want to see a Phase 1 clone with the Acclimator. I'd want to see probably Admiral Akbar with the Home 1, and then Kylo Ren shuttle, duh. CPS says, I thought this was micro scale. No, they've already released a microfighter for Kylo Ren shuttle a couple years back. We have no information about the release date, piece count, or potential price. But no, this is supposed to be a mid-eye scale set, to my understanding. This one is a little bit different. We'll just, both set names will be up there. First off, 75407, a Star Wars buildable logo. This one's very interesting, very out of left field to me. I didn't expect something like this at all for Lego Star Wars. I don't necessarily think it's an awful set. It's not one that I would be really looking to pick up unless it's something extraordinary. But at the end of the day, what are we expecting? Some gold or some yellow bricks over like a plain background with maybe like some greebling and some lightsaber hilts or something. At the end of the day, that's all I can really expect for it. $70 price point doesn't mean that's going to be that big. So what exactly could it be? And it's something that maybe if it was on clearance, I'd pick up. But who knows? Maybe we'll be blown away. Now, I want to say someone mentioned that they're doing this with Marvel too. Is anybody able to confirm that, if I heard that rumor correctly, that supposedly Marvel's getting one of these as well? And if that's the case, then I guess they're just going to create a line of logos. It's probably maybe a cool desk ornament, but as a set, not one I'm really jumping into. This one feels like CPA said for the Grogu being for normies. That's something how this would feel to me too. Deplonker says, oh yeah, 10 years since The Force Awakens, which is nuts, by the way. Next year, it's going to be the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. It feels like that thing just came out like a couple years ago still to me. That's wild. Whether or not they actually do an anniversary, like, call out for The Force Awakens, we'll see, but it is the 10th year. That is correct. CPA says, when are we getting Star Wars 1 to about 1 scale props like Marvel? Well, we do get a couple gift with purchase lightsabers like once a year, so those are pretty close. Now, Marvel has obviously had the Captain America shield, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. There's definitely been some other ones. The Black Panther bust, I think, isn't too far off, but I would love to see something like that for Star Wars. Obviously, we're pretty limited to lightsabers and blasters at that point. Bricker builds kind of takes care of the one-to-one helmet sets. I don't think we'd be getting any of those out of an official set release, but we'll see. Deplonker says they already have the lightsaber ones, to be fair, which are basically that. Yeah, yep, right on the same wavelength. They're gift with purchases. I'm not really sure what else we could get besides lightsabers. As much as I would love a whole lightsaber collection, what else? What are some other options we could get? Continuing down the line, a Jango Fett helmet for the Helmet Series sets. Now, this is a little bit of a surprise because allegedly the Helmet Series was kind of reaching its end. They were just going to push off the last ones, and then that was going to be it. But now we're going to get a Jango Fett helmet, which you have the picture of the Boba Fett helmet right here. $80, May 2025. I expect it to be the exact same set with just different colors, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To be honest, I don't see any issue with this just being a complete rebuild. Maybe like take out like the dent or something in the helmet and just recolor it. I have absolutely no problem with that. I think it'll look great. I think that it should be in silver instead of light gray. I would love to see that. But we already have a Mandalorian helmet set, so I guess that's kind of what we can base it off of in terms of what to expect with how much silver. But yeah, pretty straightforward one. $80. It's at the top end of the helmet sets. Does anybody remember what the Boba Fett helmet released for? $80 sounds a little bit steeper than what I remember it being. CPA says, yeah, but we don't see sabers on shelves. I'm talking retail set. True. Kind of just a general question. Do you guys wish that with these gift with purchases, that after like 6 months or so, they would release them like as a limited quantity on the shelves or online or something like that, just so you could have a chance to still buy them? I would love to see something like that personally. But I do understand how that could really piss some people off that go and buy something day one, get the gift with purchase, and now all of a sudden it's not as special anymore. But at the end of the day, Legos aren't for investing at their core. Evan Dennis says an articulating holocron set would be pretty cool. That's a good one. That is a good one because yeah, the whole functions that you could build into that would be, yeah. D. Plonker confirmed there are rumors for a Marvel logo. Thank you. I thought I had heard that. Just wanted to confirm. Benjamin says a Darth Revan mask would be cool in Lego. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they start to make more helmet sets or if this is just kind of a one-off Jango Fett for whatever reason. Worst Hour said, oh my gosh, drinking water, but that just almost just completely cracked my voice. Worst Hour says, getting the silver that was used as the trimming on the Mando would be cool. I agree with you. I would love to see the whole Jango Fett helmet in silver with the blue accents. I don't think, is it really that much more expensive for them to produce? Because it's not, I believe the process they do is a little bit different than what it used to be for these silver colors. So, D. Plonker says the Boba helmet was $60. Okay, then in this case, it better be fully metal. It better be fully metallic colors. For a for a 33% price jump, it better be. Guy says, tell a joke. I am not a comedian. I don't have one off the top of my head, man. I wish I did. Maybe you guys can get creative in the chat. Worst Hour. I think they do that with gift with purchases. My mom got a gift with purchase from a reseller who got it only from Lego for a price. Maybe resellers can do it, but I would just like to see like online. Like remember when obviously in 2020 all sorts of things happened. But they had released the Bespin dual set, and then a little bit later, I think the following year, the Nebulon B that were supposed to just be like giveaways at conventions. They released them as actual chances to just purchase them online. They're limited quantities. I would like to see something like that. Continuing on with these is okay. Okay, now this is the big one. Jango Fett's Starship, set number 75409, allegedly a May 1st release date, 240 pounds, which is what, $260. UCS Jango Fett's Starship. Obviously, it's a Slave 1. It's Jango Fett Slave 1. This I was not expecting at all. This completely took me by surprise. I think everybody was taken aback by this, but it is incredible. Another prequel UCS set. Love to see it. As someone who has the Venator sitting above my Naboo Starfighter, then obviously this custom Naboo Starfighter fully chromed out. I've got a Republic gunship with the misprinted box sitting sealed over there, and then a Jango Fett's UCS Starship. Now we're getting a whole, like, other than the unofficial Naboo Starfighter, we're actually getting a full collection of prequel sets in UCS scale. It's amazing, man. I love to see it. This one, again, like I said for the Boba Fett, like I don't, obviously it's been, what, 10 years at that point since the, because the Boba Fett Slave 1 UCS set, that was 2015, I think. January 1st. I know it was January 1st. It was either 2015 or 2016. I think it was 2015. Building techniques and pieces have improved since then, so I don't expect like a one-to-one reskin, but it should be pretty dang close. I would like to see it in the same scale. I think if you are someone who owns the Boba Fett Slave 1 UCS set, that value is just going to go up because there's going to be people like myself, admittedly, that are going to want both next to each other. So yeah, and then we're going to talk about day one purchases, but I think you guys can kind of fill in the blanks here about, yeah. Now, minifigure wise, I saw M&R point this out in his video that we've been getting less and less minifigures with UCS sets, specifically the prequel ones. We typically get just like 2, but in the original release for the Slave 1, there were 4: Stormtrooper, Boba Fett, Han Solo, and then the 1 Bespin Wingguard. I would just expect Boba Fett and Jango Fett in this set. I've seen it mentioned that whether or not they decide to include Jango with and without his armor, I think that would be nice to get 2 different Jangos. That would be a nice little inclusion if you're only going to go 2. But other than that, there's not really any other figures I could totally see. Maybe a Kaminoan. There's still the Obi-Wan Starfighter set that's on shelves that's got him and Tan Wee. So I don't really, those are definitely a companion set. We've seen LEGO now get in this habit of UCS set, companion smaller set. We saw it, I think, the first time I can remember it is the ATST and the UCS ATAT. Then we had gotten this year the Sail Barge and the Sarlacc Pit. Next year, this, and then the Obi-Wan Starfighter set will still be on shelves. So there are cool, like, companion sets. I do like that trend. But it obviously does probably mean less minifigures in the UCS set. Going next, and this is an interesting picture to choose for it, but there's a 4+ set for the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. It feels like we get like 3. This feels like it's the new Luke's Landspeeder. I feel like we get a new Mandalorian N1 Starfighter, or like, I feel like that we're just constantly, we got a microfighter, we got the actual set of it. Now we're getting a 4+ set, which, if you're familiar with the 4+ sets, they're typically the worst value you could possibly even think of. It's unfair to the degree that they're kind of just suckering parents into like, oh, here's this 4+ set for your young kid that they can build, but then it's a terrible value. I hate to see that. But anyways, this one, January 1st, 92 pieces for $30. Make it make sense. Somebody, please. That's blasphemous. To quote Stephen A. Smith. That is blasphemous. The minifigures, Din Djarin and Grogu, and apparently a new R5-D4. Typical minifigures. Someone tell me why that's so expensive. Another buildable set. Set number 75416, Chopper, for $110. A May release is what's rumored. This one is 100% going to be scaled the same as R2 and 3PO. The $100 R2. I do forget sometimes that there's a UCS R2D2 that they decided to make the year before. But this is absolutely going to be in scale, and I hope it's in scale with the buildable Grogu, because, again, now we have a nice little line of displays that aren't too big. I personally like that. Same with, like, these are like the buildable character versions of the mid-eye scale sets. Does anyone know what the scale of it is? Obviously, like, Hot Toys and Sideshow Collectibles has like their 1/6 scale figures. Like, I wonder if it's something similar to that, of where we're almost getting that kind of a line in Lego, which would be awesome if that's the case. All right, gonna catch up on the chat a little bit here. There's a ton going on. You guys are really filling in. I love to see it. Benjamin says, why did the rooster go to Chick-fil-A? I don't know. I feel like the answer might be obvious, but I don't know it. Go ahead, drop the punchline in the chat, Benjamin. Worst Hour says, in response to, so D. Plonker said, also, I think for exclusive minifigs, maybe gift with purchase is fine, but stuff like the Forestman set and Tahu should be re-released. Fair. If it was like a minifigure polybag, I could see that point. And then Worst Hour said that, yeah, it's odd they do that, especially since with the gift with purchases, they have a price in the website with a line through it, although bots would buy it out instantly if they did. Now you bring up an interesting point, and we definitely had seen it last week when we took a look at Luke's lightsaber, is there is a price associated with the gift with purchases. Lego's blatantly saying what they would release it for as a set. And like, why? Like, if you're telling me I'm getting a $25 lightsaber, honestly, that's giving me less of an incentive to buy the sail barge than just knowing that I'm getting it. Because if I know I'm getting it, to me, it's like, oh, this is a valuable collectible. But then you're seeing the price is $22, and it's like, oof, like, it's still going to sell for what it's going to sell for. But, like, to be honest, like, I'd rather not see what they would release it for. I'd rather them just be like, here you go, gift with purchase. I do find that really odd. I just saw the punchline. Benjamin said, to see the chicken strip. Did you look that one up? That's a good one. Oh man, that's funny. Let's loop it back to Chopper here. I guess real quick, Deep Plonker. The junior sets do include big pieces, but definitely not enough to justify the price in my opinion. Microfighters are probably the best Star Wars sets for kids these days, and that's what I would agree with you on. Microfighters seemed to me when they were first coming out, the Series 1, Series 2 of Microfighters, it was like, here you go, here's a smaller version for a younger child, you get the minifigure, you still get your vehicle, and it's a good set. What do the 4 Plus really do? Like, yeah, sure, there might be some bigger pieces, but like, I don't know. I saw the Endor one. Absolutely hated the whole idea of that and the price. I guess if they were just priced fair, I probably wouldn't have this big of a deal with them and big of an issue. But the fact that they are priced what they're priced at is what really drives me nuts. Next up is another helmet set, an AT-AT driver. This one is not really much information in terms of release date, pieces, and price, but based on what we know with the helmet sets, I would expect like maybe $70, or shoot, apparently $80 is now a helmet set price, so we'll see exactly where it lands there. But this one, I believe I heard this during M&R's video, just going over all the 2025 rumors, was that apparently this was a set. It was ready to go, ready release, fully done, and then they just didn't release it. Now they're going to. Why? I'm not sure. I would like to get this maybe in like the fall or January. I think mixing this in when the Jango Fett helmet set comes out, to me, I feel like it would get a little bit lost. I think there's the mid-eye scale sets in January, then Jango Fett Central in May. So this I would like to see as like that September wave of LEGO Star Wars. So, in terms of our total chart, here we go. Let's go just a little bit up here. Let's get the whole thing in. So this is our full list of rumored 2025 LEGO Star Wars sets. All this is the order that we just kind of went through them all in this article. We've got the U-Wing Fighter, which is a May release for $70. Plo Koon Starfighter, June 1st, probably going to be like a $40, $45 set if the Interceptors are any sort of indication to us, which is Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, January 1st, $45. Arc 170, January 1st, $70. Buildable Grogu, January 1st, $99.99, $100. The Buildable Grogu. We've got the Acclimator Mid-Eye Scale and the Mid-Eye Scale Home 1 for $50 and $70. Again, curious to see what that price jump is really reflected by. What is, especially with the original trilogy being the more expensive set, what extra little steps did they do for that one that they maybe didn't do for the Acclimator? Or are they just charging more? The Mid-Eye Scale Kylo Ren's shuttle, we don't really have much information on at all, but I would expect that to be between $50 and $70. Probably closer to the lower end of that, just because with the prequel Mid-Eye Scale sets so far, we've seen them on the lower end. I would expect the same for the sequel. We have the buildable Star Wars logo in May of 2025 for $70. For $80, there is the Jango Fett helmet, the buildable helmet series sets. Then we've got the UCS Jango Fett Starship, 240 pounds, which I guess would probably be somewhere around $250, $260. May 1st, 2025. That's going to be our May UCS set. Can't wait for that. The Mandalorian N1 Starfighter, the 4 Plus Tragedy. That's a $30 set, January 1st. So all those kids who just didn't get their Legos for Christmas, they're going to need to go to the Lego store and spend an insane amount of money on the N1 Starfighter. Just buy the microscale ones, guys, or just get the actual set for a little bit more expensive. 4 Plus kids can handle it. I know all of us probably built some difficult sets when we were young, so they can handle that. Then we have the buildable chopper for $110 in May of 2025, and then the AT-AT driver helmet. Not really any information on that other than the fact that it's probably between $70 or $80 would be my guess. So that is all of our Lego Star Wars rumors. I am going to go ahead and kind of just summarize these in terms of like the waves. So if we break it down, and I'm sorry, I wish I had a graphic that would show this. I'm kind of just reading it off here, but I broke them out. In January, our January 1st rumored wave for a total of $365 is the Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, the ARC 170, the buildable Grogu, the mid-eye scale Acclimator, the mid-eye scale Home 1, and the N1 Starfighter. Out of all of those, day one, January 1st sets for me are the mid-eye scale ones. For sure, Home 1 and the Acclimator. Maybe the ARC 170. We'll see what it looks like if it's super shrunk down. I don't necessarily feel like that's a day one for me, but the mid-eye scale ones probably are. I love this $365 for the total wave. I mean, 6 sets, $365, which really 5 sets for $335, taking out that 4 Plus one. It's not too much. If you want to get the whole wave, you can. It's not terribly priced. It's less than a single UCS set nowadays. Deep Plonker says, I know I keep harping on about price, but another jump is really hitting Star Wars considering the recent £40 double battle pack and the $80 helmet set. Yeah, they're getting expensive, and I mean everything's getting expensive. That's kind of just how inflation works over time. But I think the hard part for a lot of people, myself included, is that the sets are shrinking down in size and going up in price. A little bit of a disconnect there for me. Really concerned that the Droid and Clone Battle Pack, the GOAT Battle Pack, by the way, is going to be the last reasonably priced Star Wars set. Maybe. We'll see. We shall see. Now, as for our May wave, this one is, and remember, we got a UCS set, but $570 for the whole May wave. The U-Wing for $70, the buildable Star Wars logo for $70, the $80 Jango Fett helmet, which if it's not completely like chromed metallic out, then we have some serious issues. The UCS Jango Fett Slave 1 and the buildable chopper. For me, Jango Fett Slave 1, I'm getting in line for it. I'm buying that day 100%, no doubt about it. That's what I'll be getting. I can't wait to see what the gift with purchase is. That's going to be our May the 4th promo season, so I cannot wait to see what that whole package could be. Personally, I hope that the gift with purchase ties together with the Jango Fett Slave 1. But if you still want more Jango Fett, you can get the buildable helmet that same day for $80. The U-Wing is a set that I'm definitely very interested in getting, but I'm not jumping at day one because that $70 price point just feels to me like we're going to see an overpriced set. That being said, it's probably going to tie in exactly when Andor's coming out, so maybe the hype from the show makes me want to get it. Tall Mosquito says, for Bionicle 2001, I got all the Rahi except the Nui Jaga and the Manas. What should I go for first? I will get back to this after we finish the Star Wars chat. I will get back to that chat. We'll do a little Q&A. And then the miscellaneous sets, which we don't really have a release date for, are Plo Koon Starfighter, the AT-AT driver helmet, and the mid-eye scale Kylo Ren shuttle. I'm hoping that the AT-AT and the Kylo Ren shuttle are fall sets, and then the Plo Koon Starfighter feels like maybe a May the 4th set. We already are at $570 for that May release, so that would bump it up to like a little over $600. But I'd like to see it then. We did see June 1st as a potential. Maybe break it up a little bit, but I would like to see it just lumped. And like I said earlier, the waves of Lego Star Wars, I like it better when it's just January, March, September. And then maybe like an October UCS set is like a standalone. I like it better because the release feels bigger to me. When you're releasing like 4 sets, and we had this happen with the January 2024 wave, is it felt like nothing came out. There's so many reviews that come out for those like 2 or 3 sets, and then they come out on the shelves and it's like, I feel like I saw so much of these sets already. Versus when a whole wave drops, that's what gets me excited to go to the store, and that's what I would want to see out of Lego Star Wars going forward. Let's get rid of the March release. I don't need it. We don't need it. Let's stick with January, March, September. Remember how fun those Force Fridays were when the Force Awakens and Rogue One were coming out? We had all those sets drop at once in September. That's what I think we should be going with. That's what I hope to see in the future. Now let's catch up with the chat here. So we'll do a quick little Q&A here, I guess, to just get this one. Now, the Nui Jaga and the Manas, which one should you go for first? Depends on your budget. If you have the budget for the Manas, then do it. They're one of, if arguably, my favorite Bionicle set of all time. I think that it's been surpassed in terms of like a build, but nostalgia-wise and what they are, they're incredible. The Nui Jaga are continuing going up more and more in price, but they're absolutely going to be cheaper. So if your budget's a little restricted, definitely go the Nui Jaga. Otherwise, all day, every day, the Manas, man. If it fits for you, go with it. Limbo said Manas for sure. It's pricey though. Hold out for a good deal. Yeah. So again, if your budget allows for it, now going brand new sealed, oh yeah, I don't know about that. That'll get pricey quick. Then you guys had a nice little back and forth in the chat regarding the Manas and the Nui Jaga. Love it. Now we're going to talk about some deals going on right now. There's some incredible promos, and you heard me talking a little bit about not paying full price for Lego Star Wars sets. That when it comes to day one purchases for me, I've definitely been holding back more because there's just more and more sets that are getting to a point of sale a lot quicker than I think what we're used to seeing. And that's what we're going to go over here real quick is right now some current promos. Amazon has some incredible Lego Star Wars deals. This Ahsoka set, this came out earlier this year. Unless I'm bugging and Ahsoka was in 2023, which it wasn't, right? I guess it could have been. But anyways, this set is already 30% off on Amazon. People were just buying it brand new not that long ago. That's the same case. This one, another Ahsoka set, 31% off. Again, why? Like, why would we wait on that? And then the Emperor's Throne Room. This is an older one, 20% off. Endor Speeder Chase, 40% off, just about 40% off. And again, if you almost never, and it's somewhere down here on the ticker, almost never pay full price for a Lego set unless it's something that you really, really want. You want the day one, you want the gift with purchase, whatever. There are exceptions. But when it comes to these overpriced sets, just wait for them to go on sale. Just wait. They will quickly. Amazon always has good sales. Shoot, I mean, Lego will always do good promos around like May the 4th. Obviously Black Friday. If it's an overpriced set, don't pay full price for it. It's kind of what I'm saying. And then there's plenty of other sales going on Amazon. Those were just kind of the biggest ones that I had seen. Catching up with the chat real quick. D. Plonker says, are there any of the Rahi from 2001 reasonably priced these days? Also one of the punching guys. The Tarakawa? No, they're reasonably priced. Not really. In used condition, yeah, you could probably find some for sure. But in brand new sealed, no. The price now is just it's getting pretty rough. Now I do want a fully sealed 2001 collection at some point, and every 6 months when I go and look at the prices, I'm like, I should have just done it already. I got the 6 McTorn sitting over here. If I pull this message down, we can see them. I got these guys back there. Just need a lot more. I got a couple Taragas sitting over there. We got Onewa, and gosh, I'm blanking. Vakama. We got those 2 sealed sitting over there, but a lot of work to do, and obviously those Rahi. So in used condition, I think you can find them reasonably priced, but if you're looking for brand new, you're just gonna have to put notifications on Bricklink and eBay and hope you get lucky. Ben James says, I need to head out. See you next time. See you, man. Just a reminder for you guys, the Continental US, we've got this giveaway going for a 2001 Tahoe, 2001 Kopaka, 2001 Onua, all in used condition, but great condition with the canisters, with the instructions. Love to be giving these away. Finally, we can do a Bionicle giveaway, not just a system one. Obviously, Bionicle is a big part of the channel, so definitely, if you're in the Continental US, either use this QR code or use a link in the description to the stream. Make sure you guys are liking the stream as well. Always helps out a little bit. Give me your feedback, and obviously I can take that and run from there. Tall Mosquito says, D Plunker, the punching guys, the Tarakawa, are my favorite of the ones I have so far. They're not cheap, but if you wait for a good deal, it's worth it. I completely second this. The Tarakawa are an incredible set, great play feature. The punching action, it feels a lot more powerful than a lot of the typical Bionicle gear functions. It's got a springiness to it. It's fun to roll them around on the treads. They're an excellent set. They are a little bit tougher to find, though. I will say that. Will L says, what are the 3 Bionicle sets giving away? The 2001 Tahoe, 2001 Kopaka, and 2001 Onua. We're just going to lump it all as one, too. I'm not going to separate them out like 1, 1, 1. I'm going to do all 3 together, give you guys half the Toa Mata, whoever's the winner of that, but make sure filling out your entries. Now, I think, go ahead, if any of you guys have any other, any questions, definitely happy to hang out for a little bit and answer some of those, or we can just jump straight into some giveaways. Whatever you guys want to do. D Plonker says, shame I'm not in the US, but luckily for me, only Toa Mata I have are the Toa and Onua, and Kopaka's arriving soon. Sweet. So, works out for you. Again, yeah, the physical prizes, just because they're free giveaways, I want to keep them in the Continental US to keep the shipping price down. Otherwise, I could easily end up dropping 3 times as much on shipping than I do on giveaway items. So definitely want to avoid that. But that's sweet. Again, and typically I will try to do like some digital giveaways. The last 2 streams I've done $25 Lego shop gift cards. So I'll try to do some more digital stuff in the future too. Will L. Let's see what we got here. You're dropping a couple emojis in here. We got a cat in a box, and was that a dolphin? All right. So what do you guys say we run this giveaway? Give you guys about 60 more seconds to jump in if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys for jumping into the stream today. Episode 4 of the Stay Bricking Show. I don't know what that was. That was not a 4. Episode 4. Of the Stay Breaking Show. I really enjoy doing these live streams. This one was a little bit earlier than the typical ones, but I kind of said earlier, you know, Alabama, Georgia starts in 3 minutes. If you're a college football fan, number 2 versus number 4, obviously gonna go hang out somewhere and watch that. So that's the reason for the earlier stream. But also, some of you guys that are on international audiences, I know the time jump when we start at like 8:30 can be kind of crazy. D Plonker says, what made you decide to review the Bionicle sets all sealed with Motunui Mondays? The inspiration for Motunui Monday, it kind of just happened. I had sealed sets from 2001 to 2003. I made a couple reviews for them. Bionicle is something that I remember from 2 years old. But I figured people would enjoy seeing them being reviewed as if they were currently being released. And then when it kind of just started to take traction, that's when it turned into, you know what, these are going to turn into weekly videos. I know they haven't been as of late. And I'm sorry, we're not going to get the next Matsunumi Monday out this Monday just because just haven't had the time to film that one. That'll be the next week. Limbo says, go enjoy sports ball. Yeah, man. Always. All right, let's go ahead and run the giveaway. I'm going to close out the responses. We will run a random selection here. Let's go ahead and just copy this formula. You guys can't see, but just copying over the formula in the Google Sheets that I've set up. I love doing it in Google Forms because you can just copy over the responses. They just link to Google Sheets. And then you can just run randomizing and pick a winner there. CPA, thank you. Shout out to CPA for helping me find these and making this giveaway possible. I know you're entered in it, so if you win and win your own prizes, man, that'd be funny. Would really be a shame for the rest of the viewers, but I'm gonna go ahead and gonna run this giveaway here. 1, 2, 3. The winner is Average Robert. Congratulations, all three. Onua, Tahu, and Kopaka. I will be getting in contact with you right after the stream is over to get the whole shipping address figured out. I'll send you a $0 total invoice for you to go ahead and fill out so we can get those sets over to you. But thank you very, very much, you all, for joining into this stream. I had another blast today going through this stuff. Bionicle is obviously the heaviest content that's on the channel right now, but Lego Star Wars is even, if not maybe a little above or below Bionicle. So love to talk it. Love that this week has been a busy one. Next stream should be next Saturday, and then after that, definitely gonna have a break for 1 week. But episode 5 next week. Try to do some digital giveaways so that everybody can take part in them. Otherwise, you guys know the deal here. Have a great day, and of course, stay bricking.